Hello everyone, Jorge here with Avalos Cloud Native and Nexus Technologies. This is gonna be another video for Docker. So we're gonna show you some basic commands for Docker. So we have a playlist in here. I'm gonna show you the screen. We have a different playlist for Docker, some stuff for open source intelligence. If you wanna be doing scanning to anything you wanna do, anything, phone numbers, companies, domains. It's like hacking tools, pen testing tools. If you want to know, if you want to learn about GitLab, we also have blockchain videos, smart contracts, Git. And this is I'm gonna have a lot of different playlists here for different technologies, pretty much everything microservices and much, much more. So we're gonna focus now on Docker one more time. So how many videos we have for Docker? Let me see, view the full playlist. I got only 3. Okay, so we're gonna do another one here. So the first one was actually introduction to Docker containers, installing and deploying Docker. And then can't remember what this one was about, the matrix from help in DevOps. So basically this is about versions when you're dealing with different versions of applications. Okay, this one shouldn't be here, but that's okay. All right, so let's get going. So what commands can we be using? Right now, we are using one SSH connection. SSH means secure connection, port 22 usually, using this tool called PuTTY or PuTTY. So let's see, let's play with some basic Docker commands. Docker ps. Okay, what can we see here? We can see there's a container ID, right? There's an image name, there's a command. It shows you when it was created, the status, having up. There is 2 different containers. There is port numbers. And it's pretty much, so you have the status, if it's up and down, you got the port numbers, the names, right? And you can also do Docker, PA, PS, -A, I think it is. Yes. So when you add the -A here, or the -A, it will give you some other details. Let's see what other details we got extra in here. So we got container ID, image, names, commands, created status, ports. It's pretty much, it shows the same. I do not see any difference so far. I thought that PS command was going to show you if you have extra names and stuff like that, but I guess it doesn't. Okay. So what about if we want to, let's say, if you want to pull a new container, Docker pull anything you can think of. Let's go and what can we let's try to find a name for a container. So let's go to Docker Hub. What is Docker Hub in here? Maybe here? No. So let's go to Docker Hub. So Docker Hub is basically a repository where you can storage the containers that you actually bootstrap or the containers you made. So let's look in here for something to do with, let me see, what can we see here? Something amazing. This is really popular. The NGINX. This is an official repository. So you can do this Docker pull ngx, right? So then it's gonna pull an image from here. So why is this gonna pull it? So we don't have it. We don't have that. So if we check for Docker, maybe Docker image, build history, load ls. Yeah, Docker image ls. How many images should I have? I have only 2, right? You can see on the ground Nexus. You can see the spider food that I did in the previous video. So if I pull out a new image, I'm gonna say Docker pull in EIX, I think it is. NGINX. I will copy this. Copy this. We're gonna pull a new container from the repository. It is doing it right now. So it is pulling the container, but it's not going to start the container because you didn't say run, you didn't create a volume, you didn't do any of those steps. So we're gonna take a look here in a second when they finish. It is done. So now let's see if we have a new image added to the list. And you can see it now here, okay? So now you know how to pull new Docker images from Docker Hub, okay? So what about if we want to run that container? And Docker and G I N X. We want to run it. What's gonna happen? Okay, looks like it's doing something in there. It's trying to run the container. So let's see how long it's gonna take. So before we only had two containers running. When we did the Docker PS, we had two containers running, right? Now we're gonna run the Docker PS in a second here too. Oh, I think that because when you run that command, it will stay there. So basically you have to exit. So what about if I do Docker PS again? Oh, it didn't do it. So maybe because I exited. So I'm just gonna try to start it again. Let's leave it running and we go from there. So yeah, so I think what happened is it will it will get stuck there. So I guess you have to run Docker. You run pretty much the same command. This is how it works. So if if you just run the Docker, you say Docker run, you gotta say -d so you don't see what's happening on the background. And then you do ng, what's the name of the container again? ng, inx. Maybe this way you will not see what's happening on the background. It will just run. So if you say Docker PS, we have it here running now. So if you don't want to get stuck on the terminal, not knowing what happened by just running this, if you run Docker run nginx, if you run that, the terminal will not work anymore. You have to press Control C, right, to get out from there. And then the container will stop too. So the best option is to run Docker run, then -d, and the container that you want to run. But the container, you have to pull the container first. Make sure you pull the container and then you can run. Don't try to run without pulling. So first run the container, pull the container, then you try to run it. But when you run the container, do the -d nginx or any container you want. And then you can see it running. Okay. So if you want to see Docker images again, ls, Docker images ls, oh, image. We will list all the images. If you do Docker, Docker PS, you will see what containers are running. If you do Docker PS -a, it would show you pretty much the same because they both list the ports, the same variables: container ID, name, command, the creation, status, and ports. So what about if I want to remove a container? First, you gotta stop the container. Stop ng. I want to stop the first one. nginx. Stop that container. Let me see how that works. Docker. Will give you what to use, right? So you can say Docker stop. Then nginx. I'm missing something in here. Okay, one sec. How am I missing it? So I see. So I think the error is we're gonna use the same command. Okay, we're gonna use the same command, but instead of using the container image name, you have to use the name of the actual container. In this case, it's this one right here. That's exactly what's happening to me. So let's try to stop that container. There you go. So don't use the image name, you have to use the name of the container. So watch my mistake here. And then after that, you already stopped the service. I guess you can actually now remove it. So we can remove the container or the image. So what about if I want to remove the image? Now I can use the same command that I was trying to use. I can use here RMI, right? You can so you stop the you stop the container with the name, right? You run docker stop the full name, and then you remove the container, right? With docker rm and the name, and then you remove the image. So what's the image name here? The image is called ngixn, right? So you have an error. So we have the right command. We have a right command, but it's telling us that we have a problem because it says that someone else is running that. So we don't have anyone running that container. So no one is running that. So let's give it a try again. Maybe it was taking some time. It's a conflict. Unable to remove repository reference. Must force. If okay, so let's force with the ID then. So let's use with this or reference ID, one of the two. So let's try that with the name, with the number, container ID. It doesn't have that. Guess we can try this one. And then we do last command. And let's paste this one here too. It doesn't like either, but I know that the image, let's see, docker image ls. Let's use this one, which is, did we try this one already? Yeah, we already tried that one. So there is no containers, there's no containers using this image. So technically, it should work. Maybe I'm gonna try sudo using k. New page. Docker rmi and then ID. What's password? It doesn't like that. At this point, maybe it's gonna try to force it. Okay, finally. So basically, you have to add a dash F to force it. So now if I say docker image ls, I don't have it there anymore. So what do we learn today? So we know how to run docker ps, docker ps dash a to list the containers. We know how to remove containers. You know how to remove images. You know how to pull them. You know how to use docker run. You know how to list the image that you may have. What else you will learn here? So a few good commands. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video, 13 minutes. Appreciate it. Please don't forget to subscribe, like it, and more Docker container trainers come here. So I want everyone to be a Docker specialist. I'm refreshing this for me because I was not working with Docker containers every day. So for me, I'm more than happy to refresh all this slowly with you. So again, Docker run, Docker pull the image. If you say Docker run and you didn't have the image, it will pull it from the repository for the first time. The second time you want to use the same image, it will use the one from your local repository now, not from Docker Hub. Okay. If you want to pull and run, that's fine too. You pull and run, but you can also run right away and it will pull. You can also stop before you remove a container. You have to stop the container. Okay, so Docker stop the container name. If you want to maybe remove the image, You can, but make sure you stop a container. Make sure that no container is using that image before you can delete the image. And if you cannot delete the image, make sure you use the force, the -F command. Okay, thank you. Bye.